Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading for mid-March 2025. You start with this card that says a fiery climax approaches. You also have this card that says it's time to take action. So even with all these retrogrades going on, it could absolutely be time to take action on something. Now, here's the thing, Scorpio, is for a good amount of time, I've been talking to you about, potentially rebirthing an old idea. So, you have the Six of Cups here, and really this could say that you're taking action on rebirthing something that you've done in the past, which is perfectly acceptable during a Mercury retrograde. Most astrologers say don't start new things during retrogrades, which I kind of disagree with. I've started many things during retrogrades, and some of those things I still do today. Some of those things I don't. And maybe, sure, you could argue that the retrograde brought those things to an end. But really, I think that retrogrades are time for education. We learn from our mistakes about 1,000 times faster during a retrograde. So I start something new every single retrograde, literally on purpose. And sometimes I make mistakes, but guess what? I learn from those mistakes a lot faster. So I'm not a big fan of letting astrology or tarot control your life. And, that's one way that I prevent myself from allowing astrology to control my life. You start here with the Ace of Wands, the Six of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Wands would definitely be like a fiery new beginning. You have that card that says a fiery climax approaches, and also that card that says it's time to take action. Both of these are both Aries as well. Full moon in Aries and new moon in Aries, which is interesting. The next eclipse is going to be in Aries at the end of towards the end of the month. So, maybe between now and the end of the month-ish, or, I would say even the middle of April, you could be kind of planning on getting started. The Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new. So, again, there's definitely some sort of new, inspiration coming in for you at this time, Scorpio. Like I said, it could be an old idea, but, you could be taking, a more inspired approach to an old idea, which I think would be great for you at this time. I mean, right away, you have the Nine of Pentacles right next to it. So the Nine of Pentacles would represent, focus, and she's also the card of gratitude and luxuries as well. So whatever you're creating could be something that you will be very grateful for. You have the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is innocence and nostalgia. I feel pretty good about this for you because I think that, again, you are thinking of an old idea. This is like childlike energy. When we were children, we all wanted to be something probably different when we grew up. I wanted to be a dinosaur. Obviously, my dream did not come true, but, still, there might be a way. Still might be possible, right? So the Six of Cups says, what did you want to be when you grew up? And, this could be something from just a couple of years ago as well, where maybe you came up with an idea for a business or a career, or, maybe you started something a while ago. And I feel it's an amazing time for Scorpio to reinvent those ideas or to rebirth. If you're already doing it, maybe you are working on something that is an idea that you started a couple of years ago. I think the Six of Cups sometimes says now would be an amazing time to enhance it or make it better or improve upon it. And those are the things that I would be focusing on. I do feel very financial about this, by the way. So, some people look at this as a love card, but for whatever reason, I feel, you do have some love stuff here. We're going to clarify, of course, but I feel this is more financial more financially related. You also have the Ace of Cups, so two aces in your first row, which is great. The Ace of Cups is your emotions overflowing, being very happy. The Ace of Cups is also about getting into the flow. So with the Ace of Cups, we have to do things that put us in this flow state, right? That cup can easily reach down into the water below it and fill itself back up. And that's what causes it to overflow, so it never runs out of energy. The Ace of Cups is those things that we do that we can do endlessly. Those activities that we can do all day long and never get tired. So, for some of you, I feel that you could be kind of creating a little bit of an environment for yourself, or maybe you're focusing more of your efforts on things that you can do endlessly. I do feel for some of you that there could be kind of new love. I mean, we do have the Page of Wands, we have the Four of Wands, and so if you want love, it's definitely possible, but we'll look more into it as we clarify throughout the reading. But let's see. With the Ace of Wands, you have the King of Pentacles. Yeah, I really feel that, as we get to the end of Uranus and Taurus here, that you fixed signs are very, very focused on stability. Uranus and Taurus wants true freedom. A great way to create true freedom is to have a stable life. And the King of Pentacles, he really is, he's very focused on longevity. He doesn't just want to build a business. He wants to build an empire that lasts forever, that he can pass down to generations, right? Same thing with love. He doesn't just want like any old love connection. He wants something that lasts forever. So I think that a lot of you Scorpios are more focused on longevity at this time, and that's probably going to be a key word for you moving forward. Also a great card for wealth. So again, we already see right at the beginning a lot of great stuff for wealth building and, increasing your earnings and all that other good stuff. With the Six of Cups, you have the Sun, which is great. The Sun is your attention. The Sun kind of shines a spotlight in this part of the reading. And so the Sun wants us to pay attention to our attention. Like if you're thinking about things during the day, or if you're thinking about random inspiring thoughts, the Sun wants you to move in those directions. The Sun makes the whole entire reading more positive as well. So, again, this is, shaping up to be a very positive reading. With the Ace of Cups, you have the Hangman. The Hangman is about gaining enlightenment, and so is the Sun. So he is hanging from the tree of knowledge and wisdom, and his head is glowing because he has gained enlightenment. He has gained answers on what he needs to do next in his life. His next step is to get off the tree and start moving forward. So I kind of feel, the whole reading says it's time to get started, even though we have the retrogrades. Yes, I understand that. I get it. But, again, the energy is the energy. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this connection card. It says a special connection will open doors for you on your path. It may be a partner, a mentor, a client, or a helpful friend. You have this niche card. It says, with your unique experiences and fresh perspectives, you would do very well specializing in a niche. So if you have a business, it might be time to become more specific. Also, I think it's an amazing time for socializing. You don't really have any social cards here yet. That could change in a minute, but I still think it's an amazing time for socializing. So if you're looking for guidance, making those special connections is going to be very helpful. Now, you have the Nine of Pentacles, and Nine of Pentacles, she is training her focus. She has this falcon on her hand here, and it represents the fact that she's training her focus. She has these grapes behind her, and the grapes in the tarot represent something that is very difficult to grow, but she can do it well. And so I think that if you have a business, and by the way, the King of Pentacles also has grapes on his cloak. So, I think that if you have a skill, this could be something that you are kind of reimagining during the retrograde. It could be something that you are rebirthing as well. And I would be more specific. I always say, speaking of the niche here, a doctor makes a lot of money, but a plastic surgeon makes 10 times more, or a neurosurgeon makes a lot more, or, whatever. So, when you specialize, you become more valuable. And the Nine of Pentacles is about focus, which would be having a focus or specializing. And, again, that niche card basically says specializing in a niche is going to be the thing that could make you more successful. This is true for, if you're getting into a job, or if you're trying to find a new career or start a business. I would, kind of sharpen your focus, because that's what the reading wants. You have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands came up a lot during the March monthly readings, and I was saying how the Page of Wands seems to want us to be more playful. He starts a journey, and he really practices non-attachment. He isn't so attached to the outcome, this needs to work exactly this way. He's willing to just go on the journey and see what happens, right? And I feel, embracing a little bit more of that happy-go-lucky, just being willing to see how things go would be very beneficial for you. Now, it seems like a little bit of a risk, because we go up to the Five of Swords. Sometimes I feel the Five of Swords is just simply about taking a risk, and taking the risk of, being wrong, or taking the risk of exposure. Right now, especially, you have the Sun here, but with Pluto and Aquarius, I think the risks that we should all be taking is the risk of exposure, the risk of saying something and being wrong, the risk of public speaking, the risk of, starting a business and people making fun of you for failing, all that stuff. And so, you could be taking one of those risks. You show up here with the Death card. The Death card, of course, is you, which puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. We also have these two pillars here. And these two pillars show up on the moon card. You end with the moon card in the good stuff, which is good, and the sun is coming up between those two pillars. So it kind of suggests that you're entering into a sun period. I would have said that anyway, even if the death card didn't show up in your reading, because the moon card shows up at the end. When the moon card shows up in the good stuff, it kind of says that we're entering into a time of clarity and where we can see where we're going. And so again, I think the death card is saying that. The death card would also play into the whole like rebirthing an old idea and upgrading it in some way, or taking a new approach. So again, if you are rebirthing an old idea, now is the time. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, Nine of Wands says don't give up. Like I said, if you're rebirthing an idea, it makes sense that a card that says don't give up would come up, because maybe this is an idea that you have given up on in the past. The secret with the Nine of Wands is to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. It's a card of experimentation. It's a card of trying to do things in a different way. And I feel that would be very beneficial for you with the Nine of Wands. It's just like experimenting, trying new things. Same thing with the Page of Wands. Again, he takes, a happy-go-lucky approach to the things that he's doing. So if he starts his journey and something comes up, he will just change direction, or he will kind of like play around with ideas until he gets back on track. And the Nine of Wands reminds us to do that. With the Page of Wands, you have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that no longer serve you. It's kind of cheating right now because we just had that Virgo eclipse on the 14th. I'm actually recording this on the 14th. This will be published on the 15th, but, again, eclipse energy lasts for like 6 months. So, again, this is something that you could be doing. You could be deciding to go on a new journey that pulls you away from something that is no longer satisfying. He's walking away from the Eight Cups. Again, the Eight of Cups is a little bit of a scary card. It is a risk, and we go up to that Five of Swords. So he is walking away from something. These Eight Cups do provide him with some sort of result. This could be a job that pays you money. It could be a person that loves you, but maybe you don't have the same feelings, right? It's like, he's taking the risk of walking away from something, but if he were to stay here with these Eight Cups, he would be settling. And so the Eight of Cups reminds us to not settle. With the Death card, you have the Ten of Cups. Yes, you will be very happy if you reinvent something at this time. I've been talking to you about this for months. Like, it definitely seems to me like you're either reimagining something you're already doing, or you're enhancing it. Like I said earlier, you're making it stronger. You're making it more stand out more. Which again is, as a fixed sign with Pluto and Aquarius, that's definitely a risk to you, right? If you have a business, making it more flashy, or more, being more aggressive with how you promote it and things like that. That could feel like more of a risk because of the astrology. Same thing if you want love. Like, if you want love, we're all promoting ourselves if we want love, right? And being more risky or flashy or trying to stand out, can be a risk. But, Ten of Cups really says that you will be happy if you do it. And so that's what I would do here. The other funny thing that we have here is the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is about doing something in a different way. So it's just more symbolism of you doing something in a different way. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have the support card and this releasing card. Yeah, we talked about support and how it's an amazing time for other people. And so focusing on the people who actually support you is going to be more important. Also, like I said, cheating a little bit because of the astrology, makes sense that you would have a card about releasing something in your life, because we're all releasing things at this time with the eclipse. You have the Five of Swords, the Six of Swords, and the Seven of Swords. I feel risk-taking here. Like, we've already beaten this to death. We've already talked about it, that you could be taking some sort of risk to walk away from something. But, I feel like you already know it's not right. It's like the number one question I always used to get when I would do readings is, should I walk away from this person? And people would be like, I feel like I'm going to regret it in the future. I'm like, well, yeah, but here's the thing. You're already thinking about it. It's like you already want to do it, right? So the answer is yes, because you're already thinking that you should. So, when we release a person, I'm not saying that's what's happening here. I'm just giving you an example. When we release a person, it's like you set yourself free, but you also set them free as well. You're not wasting their time anymore when you already are 1 foot out the door, right? So the Five of Swords says sometimes we do have to hurt other people and walk away from something that isn't right. Now, again, I'm not saying this is love for you, Scorpio. It could be for some of you, but it could also be like maybe you're worried about walking away from a job because the people you work with will be sad, or maybe you're worried that you're going to hurt your boss or whatever. And I kind of feel like some of you are taking a risk of walking away. You have the Six of Swords. Six of Swords would say that you're doing this to move on to calmer shores. So again, I think it's probably a good decision for you to walk away from whatever this is because it will move you closer to the calmer shores. And that's what these two people are doing. Now, again, a little bit of a risk, right? This woman and this child here, they only have the clothing on their back. So I think something people forget about this card is it's a risk. They are completely starting over on the other side for the hopes of a brighter future. They don't know. They're bringing nothing with them. They have to basically start from scratch. So a lot of you could have that feeling right now, especially if you're like working on something new or starting a new project or like rebirthing something. You could be thinking to yourself like, wow, I'm, kind of like going back to the drawing board here, starting over, but it could be the right move for you to make. You have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is more playfulness, by the way. He has these polka dots on his cloak. And polka dots in the tarot can represent taking a more playful approach to something. Polka dots in the tarot can say we're taking things too seriously or we're making something too serious and we need to be more playful, which we see with the Page of Wands. The Seven of Swords, he's also stealing these swords from an army in the background here so that he doesn't have to go to war. So the Seven of Swords basically says that everything we want to do in life, there's a better way to do it if we do our research, if we find a better way. And so instead of going to war, he's stealing the swords. And anything you're trying to accomplish, there's probably a way to enhance it, do it differently, move in a different direction, everything we've already talked about. With the Five of Swords, you have the Four Swords. Yeah, Four Swords is resting, relaxing, recovering. Again, after, if you are walking away from something, you may need to take some time to rest, relax, recover, and heal yourself. So make sure to take that time. With the Six of Swords, you have the Hermit. The Hermit is about being in hermit mode. I do feel it's time for you to shine your light. The thing is, the Hermit has been through a dark night of the soul, and he has his inner light right here. It's funny that I said that your risk is basically shining your light, right? Like getting more attention, standing out, bragging about your business, getting your business to stand out, getting yourself to stand out. He doesn't want to stand out. He has gone through something very difficult. It is very tempting with the Hermit to stay in isolation. This is not accurate tarot. This is Chris's crappy tarot, but what I would say is I feel the Hermit needs to come down from the mountain. That should be his next step. Because, again, it's very tempting when you've been hurt or you've been through something challenging to just protect yourself and not show off and to, stay in isolation. But really, we are here to inspire, especially with you fixed signs with Pluto and Aquarius. I think, being an inspiration to other people in your life is going to be very, spiritually important for you. It's going to lead to spiritual growth and probably spiritual reward as well. So he needs to open that lantern up and, kind of shine bright. And that's probably what you need to do as well. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Six of Swords. So whenever we have a repeating card here, it's basically the universe saying I meant what I said. And it's kind of like confirmation. I really like 2 6s because 2 6s says you're on the right path. You're going the right direction. So if you are going back to the drawing board, you're definitely going in the right direction. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this entanglement card. It says, if you realize that you're in an entanglement, it may be time to move on or take a break. Which, again, it's showing up in the good stuff, so you probably are. You have the Scales of Balance card. It says, find balance within yourself and things will balance out around you. That could be the other thing as well. A lot of this energy, I don't really see what I'm about to say here. So, take this with a grain of salt, Scorpio. But a lot of this energy kind of just reminds me of too much coming at you. The feelings that I get off the reading, this is how I would feel. So again, take this with a grain of salt, but this is how I would feel if people were throwing too many opinions at me. I would feel pressured to move in a direction. I would feel pressured to settle with the Eight of Cups and, things like that. And so I kind of feel a Scales Balance card is saying, it might be a good time for you to just listen to yourself and make your own choices and decisions in life. And that's what I would do there. You have the Moon, the Hermit, and the Four of Wands. So the Moon in the good stuff would suggest that you are entering into a time of clarity. Normally the Moon is fears, fantasies, illusions, not seeing things clearly. But coming up in the good stuff, it would kind of say that you are seeing things more clearly. It would also say that you are getting close to the end because the Moon is part of the Fool's journey. The Moon has to get to the end of these mountains and he has to climb the mountain. Now, the mountain can be an obstacle, but it's also an achievement. Where do you get the best views? At the top of a mountain. So he's been through something difficult, the Fool, when he gets to the mountains, or to the top of the mountains, but he is getting a reward. What do you know? Your next card is the Hermit. He's standing at the top of the mountain. the Hermit. So it's like you've climbed to the top of the mountain, which we already talked about. You've been through something difficult, and now it's time to shine your inner light. The good news is that the Hermit is also showing up in the good stuff. So it kind of would suggest that you are coming down from the mountain, or, it would kind of say that you are going to come shine your inner light to the world, which is probably exactly what you need to do with this Hermit energy. The Hermit would say that you're also probably being more social. And like I said, March is, believe it or not, it is a pretty social time. So we can get a lot of benefits from, people. We can learn a lot from mentors and people we look up to. And I would definitely encourage that with this Hermit energy. Next, you have the Four Wands. Four Wands can be marriage, not really a love reading, but, again, I feel there is love coming in the future with some of this stuff. So, you could be meeting love in the future, but the Four Wands for fixed signs is definitely about freedom. The Four Wands is a card of freedom. You have to complete one thing, and you have to cross through this threshold here in the middle of the card so that you can celebrate on the other side. Four Wands comes up a lot when we are completing something, when we are getting to the end of something. It's like a finish line card. We're crossing the finish line. And so I feel a lot of you are crossing the finish line here, Scorpio. What do you know? With the moon, you have the Four Wands. So we have a bunch of repeating cards now at the end. Repeating cards are kind of like confirmation from the universe. They basically are the universe saying I meant what I said. It's funny that I said with the moon that it's like, the fool is getting to the end of his journey. So it's clear to me that you are bringing some sort of long journey to an end here, Scorpio, and it could feel really good. You also could be celebrating the end of a long journey with that Four of Wands. So, I really like to see that as well. With the Hermit, you have the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is about having more options in life. So if you have gone through something difficult, it's like all those experiences, all the things you learn from, could really be increasing your options, which is great. You could be kind of like a little bit more spoiled for choice in how you become successful or what you do with your life. And, again, another really good message for you here, Scorpio. With the Four Wands, you have the Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles is like a big opportunity for growth. The Ace of Pentacles, we usually have to do something. We have to nurture the opportunity into existence. So a lot of you with this Ace of Pentacles could be nurturing something or committing to a new opportunity. The Four Wands is marriage, but this could be a work opportunity, a business opportunity, and it would really say that you are committing 110% to something. Next, you have this star card. It says guaranteed success. There you go. I wouldn't say it's guaranteed because, again, Ace of Pentacles, we have to nurture into existence. We really have to, put that time, effort, and energy into something to get it to grow. And that's really what I would do with the star card and that Ace of Pentacles. I would nurture it, care for it, water it, fertilize it, feed it. That's where the success is going to come from. You have this dagger. It says fears, worries, tense situation. Everybody feels like this right now because of Mars retrograde. Yes, Mars is direct, but we are still in the shadow until May 2nd. So Mars retrograde, even though it's not retrograde still, it's still in the shadow through Cancer. And, it kind of makes us feel like people are doing things behind our back. I would say unless there's solid evidence, it's probably not true. So I would ignore it. You have this purse card. It says pay attention to your finances. Yes, I think until 2033, everybody needs to pay attention to their finances. That doesn't mean be paranoid. It just means, pay attention. Don't spend money on things that you don't need. And be careful of where your money is going as well. And if you do that, you'll be fine. You have this apple. It says temptation will test you. I would be careful of any devils returning to your life at this time for sure. Anyone who has ulterior motives, anyone who is sneaky, Seven of Swords, I would be careful of that. You also have this card that says beware of greed. Again, no get rich quick schemes at this time. You're a fixed sign. Uranus and Taurus is really get rich slow. And that doesn't sound sexy because I know people want to get rich fast. But what I will promise you is if you take your time in building something, it will last a lifetime. If you don't, it'll disappear very quickly. So we need to take our time with things. And if we do that, we will be grateful that we did. So this is one heck of a reading here, Scorpio. I really like it. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your month.